So, hello Pulkit. I've gone
Yes,
through your profile and I know a fair bit about you, but I would like to know you better as a person. So, how will you describe yourself as a person?
sir, I would like to describe myself as a hardworking, smart guy who has a keen interest in knowing how things works, why things works, and how can we use our knowledge into application so that we can contribute to societies.
Very well. Pulkit, tell me what attracts a doctor and aims to a career in the civil services.
Sir, it was during my third year. Initially, there was no intent. To be honest, there was no intent to get into this. But in my third year, we had a rural postings, and there I realized that I had more inclination towards journal public interaction and management services rather than pursuing my medical professions, pursuing medicine and prescribing drugs. Civil services as a job provides me a lot of diversity and also sir there's a scope for touching many lives within a short span of time. So these two factors were key guiding factors behind my decision. And also, sir, there was some seniors of mine who also are doing who are currently in this profession, and they're also contributing to the society a lot.
Okay. Um, Pulkit, could you give me some concrete reasons why you should be chosen over other candidates?
Sir, I feel that the system should select me because of the following reasons. Number one, sir, uh, I am always keen to learn. There is no ego issues that I know everything. I can learn if I accept my limitations and I can learn. Second, sir, I am hardworking with having the ability to do analysis. So, number third, I am an ethical person, a person with skills, so that system will definitely require a skillful person having a ethical personality so that system could function well. So I think these are the factors which strengthens my position for the selection process.
Okay. Um, can you share any instances from your life where you faced any ethical dilemmas and how you went about resolving it?
Sir, I cannot
Could be
recall at
during
the
your medical profession or in life in general. Any incidents, big or small?
Sir, what I can recall at the moment is that there was once we names have afternoon clinics in pediatrics.
Could you repeat
In
that, please? Could you be a bit louder?
Sir, we have usually afternoon clinics. I was posted in pediatrics during my internship. So there was a patient who came from Patna, Bihar, in afternoon gastro clinics. So the patient was suffering from Wilson's disease, and the
Okay.
child was unimmunized also. So a patient of Wilson's disease who is unimmunized is more vulnerable to systemic infections. But the issue
Okay.
was that the patient was unimmunized, and there was a greater chance that the mother, being uneducated, will not get her child vaccinated in Bihar. And in
Mm.
AIMS, we do not have vaccination immunization facilities in the afternoon. So at that moment, it was a kind of ethical dilemma whether we should go against the rules and open the vaccination facilities for the child or one specific child, or we should let
During the
the
afternoon period.
yes, sir.
Okay.
So ultimately, we decided that we should ask the senior nursing officer to open the facility specifically for the child, and the child was immunized. So that is a reason, that is an incident which I can recall at the moment. So there was ethical dilemma whether one should follow the rules or whether compassionate ground can be basis for changing the rules and regulations.
Hmm. Interesting. So, do you take that as a broad guideline to your own self that compassion should, trump over the rules and regulations which are in place?
Sir, I will not, broadly we can, but specifically that depends on case to case basis, sir.
Very well. Pulkit, tell me what any weaknesses you suffer from which I should know as an employer.
Sir, I do have some issues like there is some difficulties in managing in prioritizing times for different activities for personal and professional activities.
Hmm.
Sometimes I tend to give more time towards professional, and the family and personal interrelationships do suffer. Number two, sir, I am sometimes very obsessed with the notion that work should be done in a perfect manner. So that kind of obsession with perfection sometimes results in excessive amount of time and energy being spent when it's not required that much. So these are, I think, weaknesses which I need to work.
Anything you were doing to address, particularly the second weakness which you've spoken of, this obsession with perfection? How are you overcoming
Sir,
it?
Sir, in my way, this can be addressed through prioritizing the task and thinking of the potential consequences for the kind of work which one does. If
Hmm.
it's not very high priority and it doesn't have very much large potential consequences, we can aim for just doing. We should not aim for doing it with the perfection. We can be proportionate in the amount of energy and time we allocate towards those activities.
Very well. So, Pulkit, you've been a resident of Delhi throughout your
Yes,
life.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And so, I presume, is it fair to presume that you would know the city in and out?
Yes, sir. You can expect
Very
me.
well. So, can you please give me a sociological profile of the city?
So, sir, Delhi is a metropolitan having a melting pot of cultures in which people from different religions, cultures, backgrounds, they are coming together, they are living together in harmony and peace and harmony. Uh, Regarding, sir, religion, the society is more it's more urbanized and westernized. There is more of secular features in the city, and religion doesn't find that much place in cities like Delhi as compared to tier 3, tier 4 cities. The family structure in Delhi is more going towards the new concepts of nuclear family or double income no kid families or live-in relationships kind of things rather than the traditional joint family structure. So regarding even genders, in cities like Delhi, there is more awareness regarding the transgender community, women empowerment, people, feminism. People
Hmm.
are uh, uh, people do express their concerns against patriarchal norms and try to bring in inclusivity in
Hmm.
workplace and home. Regarding vulnerable sections, sir, there is also this problem of emergence of slums in cities like Delhi because of unplanned immigration into Delhi and unplanned development and management of the city. So there is also growing inequality in terms of economic class structures. Sir, this is all which I can think about sociological perspective towards Delhi.
Very well. Pulkit, do you think the city is cleaner since the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan? Has it been successfully implemented on the ground? What would you say?
Sir, I think Delhi being the capital city of India was always at an advantageous position as compared to other areas, especially the Lutyens Delhi, the NDMC area. It was always greener and cleaner. But those areas which have been occupied by the slums area, the Jhopri complex areas, JGC colonies, etc., there the issue of sanitation is still persistent. And the recent fights between MCD and the state government, where the sanitation workers also went to strike, also highlighted how poor the sanitation and waste management facilities are there in Delhi.
Yes. Particularly, we see some these huge dumps at Ghazipur and other landfill sites. Do you think they can be? Is there a possibility that they can be done away with, or are they here to stay?
So I think where there is a will, there is a way. So I am very optimistic that we can definitely solve this problem. Also, we have a case study of how Indraprastha Park, which earlier was a garbage dumping site, was transformed into a green cover vegetation park, a recreational facility. So we need to ensure steps at all the levels so that waste disposal can be done. And there's also proposal by the new government in Delhi that they are planning to reduce the Bilaswa waste landfill sites by almost 90% in coming 2 to 3 years. So we
Hmm.
hope that this problem of landfills get resolved as soon as possible.
Pulkit, we see that Delhi residents, when they are traveling by the metro, they're in a different kind of a behavior in terms of cleanliness and public hygiene. And the same people, when they are out on the streets, they would litter. How do you explain this different kinds of behavior inside the metro premises and outside of it?
Sir, I beg to differ with you slightly. Earlier, I used to also think that there is some kind of difference in behavior whether when the person is on the roads and streets and when the person is in metro. But nowadays, I think the behavior which they showcase on the streets is being also replicated inside the metros as well.
Sorry,
So
the
the
behavior which
behavior
is
which
showcased on the streets
show
can be replicated in the metro.
is being replicated, sir, is being replicated in metros. I mean, the percentage of people is very small, but those and the civic sense is also reducing inside the metros as well.
So are you suggesting that the metros are as dirty as
No,
the
no,
streets?
no, sir. But I think the question you asked meant that there is a difference of behavior expressed by persons based on their social settings. Like on the streets, they don't care much about the cleanliness and sanitation. There is no fear of any punishment or any deterrence by the law and the officials. So they try to litter anywhere they want. But in case of metros, there is proper CCTV cameras and the officials and some different social arena is there. So they try to follow sanitation. I
Hmm.
think this is meant by your question, sir. But
Very well. Yeah, please continue.
nowadays, yeah. So nowadays, sir, people are also spitting on the metro railroads, rail tracks. They are just dumping of the wrappers on the platforms. They are spitting on the rail metro tracks. So I think, sir, the behavior is also shifting. I mean, there is no fear of the deterrence being created by CCTV cameras or fines and punishments. So we need to work on this.
Very well. Uh, why the Yamuna has not been cleaned despite successive governments, committing themselves to the task?
Sir, regarding Yamuna, I think all of the stakeholders are to blame. It's not just the governments, but also the common people and citizens of Delhi. They are also to be blamed. And I believe that, sir, major contribution, a major role in cleaning of Yamuna has to be performed by the government, because there is issues of dumping. There is, I think, 400 million gallons of untreated sewage, which has been entering into the Yamuna without undergoing treatment by sewage treatment STPs. So there is lack of capacity there,
Yes.
because there is a lack of capacity in treating the sewage. Second, sir, people are reclaiming the banks of Yamuna, and they are also throwing in their garbage, dumping their garbage inside the Yamuna. There is use of a lot of fertilizers and chemicals near the banks of Yamuna. Uh, so that is also causing eutrophication and algal growth in the Yamuna. So all these factors are there, sir, which needs to be taken into consideration.
Very well. Another problem we are grappling with in the city is the very high levels of pollution, making the city literally unlivable. Yeah. Now, do you agree with the measures like odd even scheme in cars and other modes of transport? Is that a good way to tackle the pollution in Delhi?
So some people criticize odd even schemes as being a elitist approach towards tackling the pollution, because many middle class families don't have the luxury of having two or more cars, and the opportunity to use odd number cards on odd one day and even number cards on another day. I think the better approach to the problem resides in I there we can take lessons from the Beijing case studies, like how Beijing was at similar pollution levels some 10 to 15 years back, and how they have been able to reduce the pollution. So what we can learn from them is, first, they strengthen the public transportation system. We can do so by strengthening metro and public bus services. Second, shifting towards renewable source of energy like electric vehicles or solar operated buses. Number three, which we have done also, like implementing the BS6 norms and eliminating the more polluting petrol standards, these fuel standards. And we can also even do this. We can just stop the permission. We can revoke the permission to run the cars which don't have this new BS6 standards, like which has been announced recently by Transport Ministry of Delhi. Number four, sir, the approach should be airshed. The basis of approach should be airshed management, and which includes not only Delhi, but also the adjacent regions of NCR, like
Could you
Haryana,
please
Uttar
repeat the
Pradesh.
last bit?
Sir, there should be a integrated approach towards solving the air pollution. Like we should focus not on the state but the airshed, because the air from Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh
Hmm.
also comes to Delhi. So all these states should also collaborate amongst themselves.
Very well. Uh, One of the steps, which has also another step which has been taken to address the problem of pollution, is the ban on crackers during festivities like Diwali and the New Year period. Uh, do you think that's a prudent move by the administration following the Supreme Court orders in this regard? I mean, is it something which we should have done?
Sir, no, the issues with cracker is that the festivals like the Diwali and Dashera falls in winter season, when there is acute precipitation of the pollution problem because of the cold temperatures, which led to pollutants being settled down in the lower layers of the atmosphere. So burning crackers just adds to the problem of pollution there, and it just peaks the amount of pollutants in the air, and that's why I think Supreme Court has also given in its judgment to enforce ban on crackers. But in my opinion, sir, we shouldn't blame just the crackers for the pollution of Delhi, because many scientific reports tell that vehicular emissions, industrial discharges into atmosphere, construction dust, etc., stubble burning from the adjacent states are more contributory factors towards pollution than the crackers. Instead, we should banning of crackers. We can find alternatives like green crackers, which can fulfill the purpose of celebrations as well as preventing the peaking of pollution in winters.
Very well. Pulkit, in your view, should Delhi be granted full statehood?
Sir, although I do sometimes feel that to end the tussle between the state government and the central government, the authority should be given to one of the parties, whether it's state or the central government. But by the constitutional mandate, we have this hybrid kind of system in which some powers have been given to central government and rest of the powers have been given to state government. So, sir, in my opinion, I believe that only the land issues, the land area, like uh, the subject of land, should be given to central government because they have some very centrally important buildings of embassies, etc., etc. And the police should be given to state government because public law and order in Delhi is a big issue, and if there is some kind of confusion and controversy regarding its control, it will directly impact the citizens of the Delhi.
Hmm. And could you play the devil's advocate and think why the Delhi government has not been given police powers? What is
Sir,
the rationale behind the center retaining them?
Sir, I think the rationale could be that Delhi being the capital of the country, the security of the VIPs and the very important officials, because the center of central government is also in Delhi. So I think the protection and the security for the national security purposes, central government doesn't want to give that power to state government because it's of national importance rather than a state level issue.
Yes. Pulkit, Delhi is often termed as the rape capital of the country or the world. Do you think that's a fair characterization?
I think, sir, in Delhi, because of better facilities and better accessibility, the reporting of rape cases is more as compared to other states, which in which there is poor reporting of the incidents, recording of the incidents. So, characterizing Delhi as a rape capital is unfair. I think it should be in a, although not a quite good sense, but Delhi should be appreciated for the fact that police has been recording the incidents of complaints of rape and doing something about it, compared to those states in which rapes are even not being registered by the police and the victims are being felt helpless.
Hmm. What would you say are the reasons for the violence against women that we see, including in public places?
So, sir, there can be a lot of factors. Number one, sir, regarding the stress levels and the tolerance, which has been reduced among all the population. And because of a patriarchal mindset, the male counterpart thinks that they can just do physical abuse with their wives in personal spaces. Number second, sir, because now women are also uh, coming outside in public spaces, they're also trying to they are also trying to break the glass shields, glass roofs in their career fields. So many because of the cultural upbringing that how can a woman succeed or do better than them, there is kind of jealousy against them, and so that might also contribute to sexual or emotional or physical abuse at the public spaces.
Very well. Uh, would you agree that pro women laws are being widely misused nowadays? We hear of so
Sorry, sir.
many cases of men committing suicide. If you need to
Sir, I
take a
can.
break to have water or something, feel free.
Yes, yes. Sorry, sir, I couldn't listen to your question.
My question was that do you think that pro women laws that we have, they are being misused widely nowadays?
Yes, sir, definitely. Uh, Although there might be some bias because I am from opposite gender, but anyways, the recent suicide cases by various men because of false implications under Section 498 of IPC, like domestic violence and dowry harassment, etc., have definitely pointed towards the misuse. Even the honorable courts have pointed that there has been rampant misuse of these acts. But in my opinion, sir, the problem of women, there are uh, the women's are more vulnerable uh, as a social group rather than men. So instead of just scrapping these laws, I think a more regulatory frameworks can be introduced to prevent the misuse. And in cases of where there is clear establishment of misuse of the law, a strong punishment can create a future deterrence so that the misuse can be reduced. I will
Hmm.
still be in favor of keeping these laws because other parts of country where women are not very educated, they are less empowered. They do suffer from these abuses, so we need to protect them.
Very well. Recently, a landmark piece of legislation was passed for women empowerment. Which one would that be?
And it was a 106th Constitutional Amendment Act, which aims to provide 33% reservation in state legislative assemblies and Lok Sabha.
Yes. What was the name of this piece of legislation?
Sir, it is been titled as Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam.
Yes. Uh, Tell me, Pulkit, what took, this women's reservation bill was first introduced in the 1990s and it got passed now. So, what prevented its passage for so long? What were the key grounds of opposition?
Sir, if we look at from a broader perspective, I think because the participation of women in politics is not very high, it's almost a male dominated affair. So there was fear amongst male politicians that being providing the reservation to women will cause their chances to get a seat for the elections. The chances to get a seat to fight elections will get reduced. So I think this was the main reason. But they provided different reasons to justify their this claim that that this bill should not be passed. Some said that women are not very empowered or they will not be able to do justice to the job. Some said that the political parties should first create women reservations in their political structure and then these kind of reforms should be implemented in the legislatures. But I think overall there was lack of political will among the legislatures uh, that kept this bill pending for so long.
Pulkit, there was another key demand which was made before, regarding women's reservation, which you have missed mentioning. Could you think what that is? And the bill, as it has been passed, has taken that into account?
Sorry, sir, I am not able to think
Okay,
about the
let's
demand.
move on. Uh, Another move that the government is contemplating is raising women's legal age of marriage, and a committee was also constituted to look into this idea. Are you aware of this development?
Sir, there was demand that age of women should be increased from 18 to 21 years.
Yes. Then what was the name of the committee which was looking into this issue?
Sorry, sir, at the moment I cannot recall the name.
Never mind. What is your take? Should women's legal age of marriage be increased from 18 to 21?
I would say, sir, the legal age of men should be reduced from 21 to 18.
Sorry?
I would say, sir, the legal age of men should be reduced from 21 to 18.
Very well. Uh, Chaliye, Pulkit, moving on. Could you tell me, since you're a doctor, what are some key concerns regarding women's sexual and reproductive health?
So number one, there is a lot of stigma among women to talk about it. Number second, there has been, I think, gender upbringing, uh, focusing that women's health is not important, rather than their family members' health is important. So they don't prioritize their own health. Number three, sir, we there is not much open discussions regarding such kind of issues in public, and it remains a very personal and private issue. And so even people, uh, especially the women, they fear, they have some kind of hesitations in accessing those services, even if the services are available in the nearby area, considering thinking that how will others will think about her or them. So these are, I think, some issues. But
Hmm.
government has done a lot. Like there have been special STD clinics. There have been family planning methods, which have been, counseling providers, etc., which have been available at PSC. Even the ASHA workers have been trained to
Hmm.
help them. So I think there is need. The need is to have some social change in this regard. Sir. The perspective of people should be changed. The perceptions should be changed.
Pulkit, why is it, I mean, sex and reproduction, of course, involve both sexes, right? But much of the public discourse, even policy making on sexual and reproductive health, focuses on women. Why is that?
Sir, I think uh, because the biological function of giving a birth to a child is being given to a woman, I think that is a central theme that all these kind of issues have been focused on women. And even if there is infertility, the society blames women than men. So I think this kind of thinking has contributed towards these policies being centered on women rather than men.
Very well. Chali, let's talk about your life as a doctor. Yeah. This medical entrance exam, is it conducted fairly?
Sir, at my when I gave the entrance, there were two entrances. One was for NEET UG, which gave access to admissions in all the other colleges, and other one was AIMS entrance, which was specifically meant for AIMS and JIPMER. Uh, AIMS, and there was another third entrance, which was for JIPMER Puducherry. So I can vouch for the this that the transparency in the AIMS entrance conduction was that there was no kind of there was no mistrust among candidates regarding the transparency of the process. But recently, because after the NMC has come in and there is merger of the entrance exams, there have been issues like paper leaks in Bihar and
Yes.
some allegations of exam mafias doing a wholesale cheating. So definitely there needs to be done some. There has to be like government also introduce examination bill so that the the main issue is that the candidates should not lose trust in the system and meritorious students should be selected because after all it affects the healthcare system of the country and it can lead to the question of life and death if we
Yes.
are not.
So how do we restore public's trust in the integrity of the examination process?
Sir, uh, we can, sir, first of all, simplify the system of the entrance exam conduction bodies instead of having a fragmented or uh, dispersed kind of system. It should be either integrated, centralized authority, which is being given the responsibility to conduct the entrance examination because it will then provide a proper chain of commands and will ensure accountability. Number two, sir, there should be
If I
need
may
some.
interject, isn't the
Sorry?
exam conducted by the NTA,
Yes, sir.
which is a centralized mechanism, if I am not wrong? Please correct me if I am wrong.
No, sir. Actually, what I meant to say was that the NTA some outsources some of the functions to private agencies for
Okay,
conduction of examinations. So that's why I think if the whole process is been centralized, I think that will give better results because
okay,
then less people will be involved in the conduction and process
okay,
of the examination. Number second, sir, use of technology I think would also be beneficial. Like even the this exam, the uh, Public Service Commission has introduced a lot of measures like uh, cameras, etc.
Hmm.
So I think use of technologies can be a useful tool to create deterrence.
Very well. Pulkit, we also hear of several instances of students committing suicides while preparing for entrance exams, like whether for AIMS or the IITs, particularly in places like Kota in Rajasthan. So, can you give me a sociological analysis of these student suicides?
So I would say that the cause of suicide uh, can be categorized in can be analyzed at two levels. One is the individual student level, another is the societal level, which includes the parents, friends, relatives, etc. So at the individual level, sometimes the expectations from self is so enhanced, so raised that non-fulfillment of those expectations leads to downgrade of the morale and which leads to mental health issues like depression, etc., which can uh, prone the child or a candidate to taking these extreme steps. At the societal level, also, sir, there is a lot of expectations from the parents. There is comparison among the siblings of the similar generation, among the relatives, or even there is comparison with the friends or coaching teachers who also expects to provide better results for their coaching institutes, which can all create a pressure over the mind. And number third, sir, I think there is I think some kind of parenting deficit that children of today are not able to take stress and they don't know how to navigate stress in their life. Uh, they get stressed by very simple things like they are very small. Like for example, if some of their friends haven't read their message instantaneously on the WhatsApp, they get stressed. If someone hasn't liked their Instagram reels or photos, they get stressed. So I think they should be taught that what is the broader perspective of life, what is the aim of life, how to navigate stresses, and how to celebrate achievements. I think these all things will help to create a better future of the country.
Very well. Pulkit, if you were made in charge of the administration in a district like Kota, tell me what will be the concrete steps that you will take to address this issue of student suicide.
Sir, first of all, I would first bring the successful candidates from the streams to highlight to them that cracking exams is not the end of life. They can share their experiences. They can also bring in some those not so successful candidates who couldn't clear the entrance exam, but they are now successful in another domain, so that students can get inspiration and they can realize that exams are not everything. Number second, sir, the coachings should be like what the competitive council has done, that they have stopped the publishing of advertisements, like what is happening in these kind of industries. So that kind of system should be reduced so that the competition among coachings and the percolating of that pressure from teacher to the students get reduced. Number third, we can organize community meets among the students like one day fun, having dancing songs, singing songs, etc. in the coachings to relax their minds and organizing yoga and meditation sessions. So I think these kind of steps will help.
Very well. One of the things that the government has been doing over the past decade or two is opening up of more aims in different parts of the country. So, do you think that's a healthy move? Like, are these newer aims able to live up to the brand and ensure the same quality, or do you think it leads to a dilution of that quality and the brand?
So I think we need to get out of this mindset of brand something. The purpose of AIMS was to provide tertiary medical services to the citizens of India. Now, with increasing population, AIMS New Delhi cannot handle practically cannot handle each and every patient from different parts of the country. So there was a need to decentralize the healthcare systems, and that's why government is opening more and more AIMS. Regarding the quality issues, yes, they are there because these are the teething problems which also occurred in AIMS New Delhi when it was established as an institute. But with some time, I think these institutions should also aim to upgrade themselves and improve the quality so that healthcare there should not be any inequality in healthcare services in different parts of the country, and every citizen can aim. As the WHO also mandates, like the country can achieve the goal for health for all.
Hmm. In the recent past, Pulkit, we've seen a very ugly and public tiff between the practitioners of Ayurvedic medicine and allopathy. Right? If I remember correctly, it was the Medical Council of India itself which was involved in a fracas with an Ayurvedic company. Do you think, I mean, does Ayurveda work in the first place? Do you think it's a
Sir,
legitimate stream of medicine?
sir, I think this whole controversy is because the traditional systems of medicines like Ayush don't fulfill the criteria of what we consider scientific today. Like today, there is concept of evidence-based medicine, and because of lack of evidences, people tend to usually reject these kind of traditional system of medicine. So I believe that not having evidence doesn't mean that the system is illegitimate or not it's not working or not productive. Rather, that more research studies should be conducted to actually check whether the system is working or not, rather than outrightly rejecting it. In my personal experience, also, I have used Ayurvedic medications and I do have benefited from them despite being an allopathic doctor. So I think instead of rejecting, there should be more research. And if there is an evidence, we definitely can adopt those methods and these treatment systems. And because also there is a lot of dependence on IU systems in our population, people are more hesitant towards allopathic, at least in some tier 2, 3, 4 cities, towards allopathic than Ayurvedic. So I think creating more evidences will help in the better long runs.
Very well. Pulkit, how can we make healthcare more affordable? Would you concede that's one of the key issues plaguing our healthcare system today?
Definitely, sir. The affordability of healthcare is been a major issue. So, sir, as the government is also doing, we can ensure that we have good referral system. Like basic conditions should be dealt with at a primary healthcare or community healthcare, CHCs or PHCs, and only the complex cases should be referred to district hospitals or tertiary care services like medical colleges or tertiary care hospitals. Number second, there should be opening of more tertiary healthcare hospitals. Like there can be a center of excellence in every state. Like there are different aims being opened in various parts of the country, which acts as a center of excellence for that particular state. Number three, sir, like the Jan Aushadhi camps are being opened, so bringing more generic medications will reduce the out-of-pocket expenditure for the patients, and also
Hmm.
various implants like knee implants, etc., are being covered under it, so that will reduce the expenditure. Number two,
Hmm.
sir, insurance schemes, social protection schemes like Ayushman Bharat Yojana, which is providing 5 lakh per annum to a family, which according to SCCC census 2011, that is also a step in right direction, sir. So all this way, I think we can improve.
Very well. Pulkit, why is it that despite having ample food grain production, we still have widespread hunger and malnutrition in the country?
Sir, the issue of today is the issue is not of production today, rather it's of accessibility.
Hmm.
Uh, and also some kind of awareness regarding what are the perfect ingredients which needs to be taken in a proportionate amount so that all the bodily functions are being fulfilled. So as we know that there is issues of poverty in which people are not able to even have access to quality food grains. So we have a previous system in which there have been subsidized food grain supplied to them. Sir, second, uh, people are more concentrating on carbohydrates like rice and wheat. Rather, there need to be a need to have a balanced diet in which all vitamins, minerals requirements are being met. So there is also this problem of hidden hunger, in which there is vitamin and micronutrient deficiencies.
Hmm.
So that is also an issue to this. Besides having access to food and calorie intake.
Pulkit, could you explain to me the difference between stunting, wasting, and underweight?
Sir, underweight refers to the condition when the weight for age is less than -2 standard deviations. There are proper charts in which proper weight according to
Is
age
less
are
than?
-2 standard deviations.
Very well.
Then, sir, wasting is when
There
the weight
seems
is
to be
less
some
than
issue with your internet connection. Like, are you using mobile data or are you using a Wi-Fi?
Sir, I'm using a Wi-Fi.
Okay, now it seems to be all right. Please continue.
So, sir, underweight is weight is less than -2 standards for height for age. Wasting is weight is less than -2 standard deviations for height, and stunting is height is less than -2 standard deviations for age.
Yes. And could you could you share the statistics for the extent of these three in India?
Sorry, sir, I tried to remember it from NFHS 5, but I forgot right now. I will read and brush it up.
Never mind. Why is it that I mean, how do you explain the crisis of obesity and overweight that we see? I mean, on the one hand, we have a fairly large population of underweight and stunted children, and now we are also reading a lot about this obesity overtaking the country. So, are we overfed? Are we underfed as a people? How are we?
So, sir, there is the issue of double burden of malnutrition. Like on one hand, we have extreme starvation and stunting and wasting. On the other hand, we have obesity and overweight. So stunting and wasting we understood why because of lack of access to quality food grains. But on the other hand, sir, we are seeing that especially children and adolescents, they are facing there is increasing prevalence of these kind of obesities and overweight issues. The key reasons I believe, sir, first there is more and more influence of Western cultures, cultures, especially in the food and eating habits. Our lifestyle has been totally changed under the influence of Western traits and cultures. There is no proper timing for sleep. There is no proper timing for having meals. There is more of intake of food which is high in fat, salt, and sugar, HFSS foods. There is more vulnerability because of advertisements in the social media and televisions, which attract children to this. So, sir, and also many multinational companies are also coming in developing countries as the per capita income is increasing, as their consumption capacity is increasing. They are increasingly bringing their business towards such countries. So, that way also because of poor regulations by the government regarding there is very lax regulations by FSI to control these kind of junk foods. There is this issue of sir obesity and also sir sedentary lifestyle, lack of
Hmm.
exercise and more of being a couch potato, sticking to screens, etc. This all are contributing towards this issue of obesity.
Pulkit, will I be right if I were to say that obesity and overweight, these are problems of the rich?
To a great extent, sir, yes, but also even in the middle class and the rural class, the obesity problems have been surfacing. Uh, uh, Actually, sir, in, uh, more it's not a very much issue of excessive weight, rather than it's an issue of distribution of fats in the body. The visceral or abdominal fat is causing more problems rather than having excess weight. So even in the poor also, because they are consuming carbohydrates, we are also seeing that their visceral obesity, the abdominal obesity, which earlier due to their physical activity in agricultural activities is now missing, and they are also prone to getting obesity and type 2 diabetes, hypertension, etc.
Very well. Pulkit, do doctors have a right to protest, to not continue to offer their services?
So right to protest has been a fundamental right under Article 19 as given by the Supreme Court. But I believe that doctor as a profession, they do have a right to protest, but that protest should be in such a way that it doesn't cripple the healthcare services or the emergency services, because ultimately it's the common citizen who has no fault. He or she will be suffering in the end. So, sir, the recent article rape, medical rape case happened, many doctors they protested, but they protested in such a way that the healthcare systems were not crumbled. They did it after their OPD hours. The emergency services continued. Uh, so, I think there was a very balanced and mature way of protesting, which could solve their issues at hand and also not affecting the common citizens.
Okay. In medical colleges, is there caste bias or any sort of caste based discrimination in higher education in general and medical education specifically?
So although I will answer it at this question at two levels. One is the information we get from the newspapers and the news articles, and second, my personal experience. So telling about the newspaper articles, we definitely read about such kind of cases like Rohit Vemula case in one of the IITs, or some kind of this casteism based derogatory remarks we do listen in higher educational institutes, and those even the reputed the most sought after institutions. But in my personal experience at AIMS, I never found it. Never found it. Even our teachers, our professors didn't know our surname, and we never try to differentiate it between the journal or the reserved category candidates. Although there were some groupings based on the state, like
Some,
there were some groupings based on the state, like people of Kerala who come to college, they used to have their common group. People from Andhra, they had a common group. But this kind of caste or class-based discrimination was never there.
very well. During the pandemic, we saw two, views regarding the distribution of vaccines. One was vaccine nationalism, and the on the other hand, we had what was called the vaccine maitri. Which of these two would you say was the right approach?
Sir, I will definitely go with vaccine matri, because the
Which
pandemic was
vaccine?
once matri, sir, matri. Second option.
Please continue.
Sir, there are some moral principles which are universalistic, And one of the pandemic showed us that the collective human resilience and collective human fight against such a pandemic, which could have impact not only for our nation but for the whole of the earth, whole of the humanity, needs to be taken on collectively. So, in my view, doing geopolitics and having nationalist chauvinism for vaccines was not a good idea. Like the US or other developed countries did, they hoarded they hoarded vaccines for themselves. But I think the better option, which India also did, was to increase their manufacturing capacity so that their domestic population doesn't suffer, and also we could help other populations in different parts of the world.
Very well. Pulkit, I see that you like watching movies. Yeah, on social issues you've mentioned. How did you zero down on this very niche kind of an uh, genre?
So, sir, I am very new to this exam. It's my first time. So, based on the experiences and the feedbacks given by other candidates who have been in this journey, they told that you should have very specific uh, hobby so that it restricts the amount of questioning which can be possible for me. So, I just narrowed down to that specific genre.
Okay. Would you like to recommend some movies?
Sir, I would definitely recommend Lapata Ladies. I saw this Jay Bhim, Article 15, Padman, uh,
Hmm,
Toilet. So, but I would recommend Lapata Ladies to everyone.
very well. You think that movies are broadly a true reflection of the society, or are they basically, in fantasy land? Like,
Sir, I think movies are both. It can also reflect the reality of the society, but it can also highlight something which we consider a fantasy today. It might or might not be a fantasy in coming times or even in the past. So there is no limit to the artist imagination, which can be expressed through movies. It can be
yeah.
reality or it can be a fiction.
Would you say that popular cinema is somewhat responsible for promoting stereotypes, be it those related to gender, those related to certain communities? Can it be accused of that?
Definitely, sir. There is no. I think everyone will. Everyone will also agree that cinemas have tried to propagate the gender stereotypes and some stereotypes related to caste, religion, cultures, etc. But the solution is also the movies, like various movies are coming in the popular cinema, which are challenging those stereotypes, those orthodox views, and they are also trying to bring in a new social change in the society.
Hmm. Have you heard of the idea of the male gaze?
Male gaze,
Yes.
sir, I think it's related to the screen time which a female is being provided in a film to, I think, satisfy the male consumer of the movies.
The word was the male gaze, GAZE. I hope you heard me correctly.
Yes, sir, male gaze.
Okay. Do you think movie makers are bound by any social responsibility, or is it a commercial enterprise in the main?
Sir, I believe that there is a social responsibility on movie makers because it is not just a commercial business, but it has a consequence of influencing the society, bringing new ideas or breaking stereotypes, or even propagating orthodoxy. So there should be a conscious effort by the filmmakers to analyze what kind of storyline or the plot they are making and what consequences it can have on the harmony and peace of the society.
We see that a lot of all sorts of language and content is being pushed through, particularly on OTT platforms now. So, should the OTT platforms be minutely regulated? You would say the content there, requiring certification and passing through censor eyes.
So definitely, I believe that there should be regulations like certifications because what I believe that the children today are committing very serious crimes of violence and murders, etc. A major role in this kind of events is being played by the films they watch. For example, the movie Animal was criticized for the severeness of the violence shown under it. So I think certifications for the children and for children should be there. And after they attain maturity, I think then censorship can be done away with so that it doesn't curb on the rights of artists, uh, like their right to expression, and also it provides a balance, maintaining their rights to expression and the public harmony and the societal stability.
Mm. Should we consider moving the Australia way when, in the context of social media regulation?
Sir, Australia is recently bringing an online protection law in which under the children under the age of 16 have to take parental or guardian permission to create a social media account. I think the intent might be good, but there would be difficulties in how they will be able to implement that. There might be some issues in the implementation aspect, so I don't think it will be a success. Rather, it will be difficult to comment at this moment, but I don't think it will be a success in achieving their objectives.
Very well. Pulkit, I see that you've been a student of sociology. Yeah.
Yes,
Tell me, who is your favorite sociologist?
sir, I would say uh, Emil Durkheim.
Well, Durkheim. Do you think his ideas are still relevant today? He wrote like decades back.
No, sir. Now even the concepts of postmodernism, etc., have come in, and also postmodernism is there. There is also subjective interpretation of reality is there. So his ideas are not that relevant now. But the main reason why I like him as a sociologist is that he brought out a discipline, a proper academic framework that how can we study society, how can we understand the interactions between the social institutions and the individuals or the actors. So I compliment him for bringing in this effort to bring sociology as a discipline.
Hmm. Any sociologists who commented on India whose writings you like? Any Indian sociologists?
No, sir.
Very well. Any more contemporary figures whom you like in the field?
Sir, I like Suhas Palikar sir's analysis of the politics.
Could you repeat the name?
Suhas Palikar.
Suhas Palshikar. Yes. Could you list the names of some of the books authored by Suhas Palshikar?
No, sir.
So, could you give me a summary of his views on Indian society? What does he say about India?
Sir, I don't have very concrete idea about what his sayings regarding Indian society are, but I read few his editorials regarding the elections and the general political ideology which has been prevalent in the country. Like he wrote on Hindutva, how BJP is rising, how opposition is not doing enough to curb this kind of Hindutva politics of nationalism, cultural nationalism, etc. So I
Okay, so could you give me a um, what's your understanding of the Hindutva ideology?
But I think Hindutva ideology is more concerned with cultural nationalism, in which there is a effort to ensure that the cultural heritage which we have gotten from our ancestors is being preserved, and also it is being amalgamated with the developmental aspects of today. So, virasat with vikas.
Yes. And how do you explain the uh, continuous political decline of the Congress party, which was the fulcrum of Indian politics for so long?
So, I think political parties can never be a one man or one family centered institution. There is a cadre, there are leaders, there are management committees, there are the apex decision making bodies. So all these have to function well to ensure that political party continues to function in a long run. But when political parties came in control of oligarchs, I think the decline is inevitable.
Very well. Pulkit, do you have any secret talents or abilities which you've kept hidden till now, which you like to reveal?
No,
No talents or anything that you could share?
whatever talent I've written in my application form. There is nothing secret which I have to tell additionally.
चलिए, very well. Thank you, Pulkit. ठीक है. I'll share my assessment with you now and then take up any doubts you may have. Uh, my overall impression of you, I would say, is very positive. Okay. And for good reason, I'd like to share like what was right also, so that you know what to try replicate, and then I'll come to what could have been slightly different. Your overall demeanor, I would say, it was quite formal and respectful, right, as it should be. So it was befitting the occasion. Yeah, the UPSC interview is a formal, very formal exercise, and it was according to that. In terms of your knowledge, broadly, I would say you came across as quite, my overall impression was I'm talking to a fairly knowledgeable person. You came across as quite well prepared on a fairly wide variety of issues, right? And we did talk about things ranging from the medical line, of course, to Delhi related issues and women related, and so many different kinds of movies we talked about. And across domains, I would say you came across as competent. Okay, of course, some gaps were there, which you also have identified some of them. But overall, my impression was that there were no glaring knowledge gaps. I would put it this way. Okay, so that competence in terms of knowledge is taken care of. In terms of your communication skills, I would say that you were able, you are articulate, so you were able to put your thoughts into words. I did not feel that you are struggling to find the right words or phrases to express yourself. तो वो कोई लैंग्वेज में या अपनी बात को कह पाने में मुझे कोई ऐसा इशू महसूस नहीं हुआ. ठीक है. The length of the answers for the most part was fine, mostly एक आध जगह छोड़ के, which I'll point out. But otherwise, I would say the length was fine in the sense they were not unnecessarily longish so as to get boring, yeah, like a monologue, nor were they so short ki you have not explained your point enough. Yeah, so ठीक था वो. In terms of confidence, I would say you came across as good, in the sense very comfortable, very well.